Hello, people. I'm Tika.
And I'm Tim. Welcome to Two Sides of One Coin. Tonight, we're talking relationships.
Yeah. Does the female-male relationship work when they are just friends and other people
Does it?
are into the picture?
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Me
And
too.
I think the best way we can talk about it is our friendship. We are cis male, and you are a full female, and we've been best friends 20 years, 19
Yeah,
years.
it's a long time.
Jeez.
Well, just a little bit of background on me and Tim's relationship. We're best friends.
That's
We met in high school.
10th
And
grade.
yeah, 10th grade. We clicked in 10th grade and we've been riding with each other ever since.
Ever since, I think what makes a relationship is communication, and we've always been good with communication with each other,
I agree.
whether it's good or bad. Like, hey, come here, what's happening with your life? Or, hey, I really need to talk today. I think communication is paramount.
Right. So a lot of people would say that a female and a male cannot be friends, and it's
Mm-hmm.
nothing sexually that has ever happened in a female and
Erroneous.
right in that type of relationship. So, what's your take on when you hear people say, "Oh, you friends with such and such," or "How long y'all been friends and y'all ain't fucking?" Y'all
I
weren't having
think
no
it's I think it's interesting for me because my best friend is a female. So I'm like, no, we've never slept together. I see you I call you my sister. And so I think it depends on the dynamic you set from the beginning, especially, first of all, we both fine. That's not a question. But to say that you're attracted to each other, attraction comes with different things. And for me, I love my sister. And it was never a case of, damn, sis bad. I'm gonna have to jump on that. Like, no, don't talk to her. Don't talk about her like that around me because I'm crazy. Uh, but it was always genuine love without the added stress. But I think that comes with sexual tension. That comes with heightened emotions. And it was like, no, Shatika is an amazing tumbler, a great cheerleader, a great dancer. But that's it. In my eyes, it wasn't more than that. And what about you?
Right. I think a lot of people don't realize that you can actually connect with a male and not be physical.
Yeah,
And for
yeah,
me, it was never a physical attraction
right.
to you. It was more on a spiritual, who
Yeah,
you are as a person type of
yeah,
connection. Wow, does this person give me a good vibe? Is this
right,
person
right.
supportive? Is this person loving?
The
But
same thing a woman would look for in a homegirl, you
exactly.
know,
But
or a man would look for in his homie.
right, right. So I think that as time went on, you stop
Hmm.
looking at that person as a friend, but family. So it's almost like looking at your cousin or
Yeah,
looking at your
yeah,
brother and be
yeah,
like, I want to
yeah.
smash my brother. Like, what type of sick shit is that? So
Right.
never across in my mind, even when we met. We met.
Hmm. Hmm.
I actually had told him, like, we going to be best friends.
Shit, literally 10th grade at the locker. She was like, "We're gonna be best friends," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's what." And skip forward, the band of honor at her wedding. I'm in there tearing up, like and even that was far fetched 20 years ago. The term "man of honor," like they even made a movie about it, and it was a rom-com. So I think to change the dynamic of relationships, we have to lead by those examples. Like my best friend's a girl, and I love her, and my two best friends are both women, and I
Sure.
understand them, and I get them, and they get me. But I think men and women can be friends, especially close friends, because you can learn the best lessons from the opposite sex when it's platonic, when it's enriching in other ways other than sex.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. I think so. How do you feel about when, you have people coming into the life that's not necessarily used to that dynamic of what a friend.
I always find it funny because from elderly people all the way down to high school or college peers or friends who on the outside looking in, the looks, the questions, the amount of questions, you know, have y'all ever slept together? The boyfriends, the girlfriends, excuse me, the significant others. It's interesting when you have those opposite sex dynamics, the questions you'll never get if it was the same sex.
Right.
You know,
I think the most questions that I got besides us, if we slept together, was, oh, is he gay? He got
which is the biggest question you get when the man is the best friend to a woman and they haven't had sex. Is he gay?
Is he gay?
Oh, well, that has to be the only reason we haven't slept together. Is I have to like men, which is weird, you know. Like I can't not just want to sleep with the one woman on the planet, like. But I think that's the interesting dynamic in men and women because that conversation would never happen on this end. Like, dang, you friends with Tika? Is she a lesbian?
She must be a lesbian. And it's not even like a question. It's like a statement. Like,
yeah.
Oh, he must be. Like he most definitely is. You know.
And that's what has to change because it's that old guard. It's that old thinking. Like you can't be friends with women unless you want them. You know, and it's like, living in that world has gotten us to where we are right now in the world, you know?
Right.
So we have to change that dynamic. And I think this conversation is a great example of that. Like, that's my best friend. That's my best friend, you know? And I think it was awesome because at our high school reunion, it was so evident. It was like, look at them two. You know, we came in with the air of we're best friends and we've been best friends so long that we're family now, you know? My mom is your mom is my godmom. Like I love that we can have that dynamic, you know, especially in our 30s with children, with husbands, with wives, with careers. I could still be like, I need to call my best friend who is a grown woman.
Right. So, with that being said, when you start getting into relationships where we start cultivating these families, right?
Mm-hmm.
When do you start to draw a line so that it's not a problem for the spouse of your best friend to be like, well, hey, you know, what the hell is this? I feel like it's a little bit more than what you letting on. Is there a line that you need to draw?
Well, first of all, best friends shouldn't be showering together. Best friends should not be. I'm just saying. There should be. Like, for me, there are things I would never do with my best friends because then we're not best friends. Like we're not cuddling in the bed naked.
When I say a line, I think I'm more mean like, you know, when we're single, we'll pick up the phone at 3 a.m. and call each other. Like,
see, that just depends. That depends on the schedule then, because
like, bitch, guess what just happened? You know, like, and it's 3 a.m. You know, so does that 3 a.m. thing gotta change because you know now I'm in the bedland with my man, or you in the bedland with your woman? Would that come off strange to call your best friend at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. because you need to talk to shit because some shit just went down and you gotta talk about it right now while it's fresh?
I think that depends on the dynamic. You know, you can call me because one, I'm still single. Two, you know, my mornings are free. And so the difference is where you are in your world because I know you work early. So I'm like, I ain't calling Shatika at midnight. She sleep probably, right. You know. Whereas 5 years ago, 7 years ago, it was like, hey, best friend, I need you to be my designated driver on the phone. I drive, you know.
Right.
It's 3 a.m. and I don't know where I am. That had to change, but I think we grew. And so I'm no longer calling you at 4 a.m. drunk because I'm no longer drunk at 4 a.m. Right. You know. But if we do need to talk.
I have to be honest and say one of the things that I went through when I got into a relationship with my now husband back then was when I explained to him, like, hey, you know, I can't wait for you to meet my best friend, da da da. And as I spoke about you, everything was, you know, my best friend this and my best friend that. I never put gender on who my best friend was, or I never said my best friend him, you know, so it was just my best friend. So when we got into it, I'm like, you know, I can't wait for you to meet him. And he was like, me too. And I'm like, my best friend. He's like, you know, he looked at me quite strange, like, what you mean? I'm like, when you meet him, you'll understand
Yeah.
it like took for him to actually meet you to be
And
like,
it does take that.
oh, it's nothing there.
And I think that's with with almost every relationship I've been in. It's like, hey, my best friends are strong women, and so good luck, and which is why I think honestly, in my 34 years, my best friends have only met one or two girls I've dated because it was. I know not what they were up against, but I also the question always came up, hey Tim, if you got into a relationship, how would she know that she's number one with you having a female best friend? And that wouldn't be a conversation. It would be a way of life. She would know that she was my squeeze, because we taking showers naked together. You know?
It would. She would have to be the number one if y'all in a relationship. I mean, I think it goes with the territory, to be honest. I think people are selfish when they tell you someone that you've known all your life that, oh, now that I'm in your life, y'all no longer can be anything. And
that's insecurity, though.
That's insecurity. Yeah. It's an thing.
Yeah, that's an air of possession, I know that my forever person is going to totally love the fact that just like Black Panther, the strongest thing about me is the women that surround me, because I have so many male friends, I have not as many that I can be like, yo, bro, I need to talk. It's 2 a.m. You up? The dynamic is changing, though. I will say that one of our mutual friends, I enjoy the fact that I can rock with him. He's married, and we could call each other like, hey, bro, I just need to talk. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like this because that has to change. And I love the fact that your now husband accepts me as family. Like we were both on each side of you as y'all got married, and I was like, oh my God, this is what's up, Right. The dynamic has changed because in 2019, I'm standing behind my best friend while she's getting married, and that's what's up. She picked my suit out, and I was fly. For question. Go ahead.
It was a good day. I think it was a good day to have not only the women that supported me and loved me there, but all the most important men in my life to be there as well. So it was good because I don't feel like it's a tug and pull between my husband and wanting my attention, and then my best friend and wanting my attention.
Because it shouldn't be.
Right. But y'all know that y'all have two different areas
Spaces
in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's never a confrontation between, oh, you don't talk to your friend no more because you married, bitch. So it's like, it was never that between y'all. And I think that was something that I appreciated because not too many people have that. Hell, you can have a female best friend and your husband be like, you can't hang with that hoe. I don't like her. Like,
same thing. And you can have that one. You can have that one male friend who your wife or your spouse is like, he not friends with us no more. And I'm like, oh okay,
right,
okay, blink, blink. Like, but that comes with picking the right person because it'll never be a question. Like, we best friends. Like, we getting cremated together. Are
you together?
We're gonna be right next to the porch. Hey, 76-year-old, what's up, Tika? With my glass of wine, ready.
I get that.
So I have a question then. How is it for you when you do have a male best friend, like say before you were dating, before you got married? How was it with let's just say the explanation? Like if you got kids, you got to explain the male best friend, or is it like, hey, my friend is a man?
You know what? I think when we was younger, it was something that I had to explain because guys are just stupid. I think the older guys get what
Oh man.
okay, I should rephrase. The older guys get, the more mature they become in their
Okay.
process. Okay? So the younger they are, it's still that whole thing, you know, you can't tell me that you best friends with him and not sleeping with him.
Right.
So
That
I
was
kind
good
of
right
shied away from those type of it was a like an instant turn off. Like
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like something within you has an insecurity that makes you say that when you don't know my best friend from a can of paint because you never met him. So I would rather somebody be like, oh, I would like to meet him and have an open mind.
Yeah.
Say,
Yeah.
you know, because I was hoping and praying Michael didn't say that, because I think I would have been like, it would have been like, you know,
Yeah.
and then I would have had to like work at the shit to like him again, you know, but he
Build up the courage.
just kind of like, you know, but his question was like, and y'all were never an item, and I was just like, no, and he left, and I was like, you'll get it, you know.
I had one ex who kind of was super insecure and could not fathom. I mean, you know who I'm speaking of, but she literally could not fathom I had a female best friend. Like, hey, I'm going out tonight with my homegirl. She was like, oh, have fun with your little friends. Don't sleep with none of them tonight. And I'm like, dang, I can't win for losing. Okay.
Right.
We friends. I'm not sleeping with her, but I will have fun tonight. So I think that's what's awesome to say.
I think when that person though is open to the situation, it makes you want to introduce them to, you know, the people that surround you that you call your friends.
So you can see.
You're closed off. You just like, I don't want you to ever meet them. And I think it's more like that because you know how they are because you're in a relationship with them, but you also know how your friends are. And you don't want to be placed in the middle to where it's like I gotta deal with the fuckery, because if you go off, they gonna pop. You know what I mean? And if they pop, you know,
I may have to choose my best friend.
It's gonna be really, really bad, you know, and nobody wants to really be put in that situation. Yeah. And I think more so for you, because you have not just one female best friend, you got two. You know, and both of us are so much alike, but yet so different.
So different. And y'all are both very strong in your own right. And it is very, for me, it's not been difficult to date for that reason, but it's been difficult to explain that, like you said, in my younger years, especially before my 30s, it was very difficult to be like, yeah, I got two best friends and they're both women.
Right.
Go. Like, and go, you know? But now it's more of a, now it's a blessing. I say, hey, you know, I love the fact that one of the best moments in my recent years was seeing my two best friends meet. Like, they get along. Oh, thank God. You know, it was like you said, it was that hesitation. Like, I know both of them separately, so this could go really well, or I'm being in the middle of the room screaming. And so it was very poetic to see my two best friends finally meet and go, oh, they see why I love both of them.
That comes with maturity too, because
it does.
With the fact that you have two female best friends, it can be kind of like a jealousy thing with, you know, or if you like, let me call you back, I gotta talk to, you know, such and such or such and such, and you like, bitch, you don't get off the phone. I know she your best friend, but I was talking to you first, bitch. You know,
right? Like, and it's, you know, what's crazy?
We love you. That was like, this shit is gonna pop. It's gonna work. You know?
Yeah.
Why you put you into that situation where you have to feel like you have to pick and choose between your best friends, or, oh, I'm hanging out with this best friend right now, so I can't hang out with this one. I mean, I think that's all a bunch of dumb shit, and don't nobody got time. It
is. It just happened the fact that both my best friends lived in two different states than the state I lived in, and so it made it impossible for us to finally meet. But like you said, that comes with maturity, because I wish I would have been, you know, the nervousness 20 years ago would have been, oh my God, the cat, what if they're catty? And the nervousness now was, I hope they see why I love each of them, you know, and that's the difference in growth. And I think that's the difference in what we're trying to, you know, build with relationships now. Like, we have to change the dynamic, because right now the landscape of friendships and relationships is, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So I got one last question then for this. What is the best things of having a opposite sex best friend?
You know, I think for me is I can kind of get the honest feedback of the man's perspective. For instance, like everything that my husband do or say, I'm not gonna understand because I feel like women and men have two different minds, two different ways of doing things, and that's just always the way it's gonna be. And sometimes I find myself and I'll be like, oh my God, I know you got to be the only dumbass man in the world that think like this, you know? And then I'm like, okay, you know what? Best friend, you know, and you can check me when I'm wrong. But then you tell me like, best friend, he was kind of in the wrong, and I'm gonna explain to you why. You know, so I feel like one of those things with our relationship is that I can get the honesty without anybody trying to holler at me in the background of it, or be like, oh,
the
I
honesty
know
with
her,
the
so
agenda.
I can sweet talk her to be with her. Like nobody got my best friend.
That part. Okay.
I think that is the best thing about having a man as a friend that is completely platonic and y'all love each other just on the basis of who y'all are and not because it's an underlying attraction. That's crazy.
That part. Yeah. Yes. Your face. Yes. And on the opposite end, it would be that honest communication because as much as I'm around women, y'all are still clueless to me. You know, I'm still a deer in headlights and so I enjoy the, hey Tim, maybe you shouldn't have did that, you know, or maybe that's not the right one if she reacted that way to that gesture. When, like you said, as a man in my head, I'm like, this is about to be lit. She about to be all over this. And I get on the phone with you and I'm like, epic fail. So what happened? You know? And so now it's even more because it's a genuine love, like you said, without the underlying agenda. Like, let me see if I can screw this up so I can slide in. Like, no. I want you to know that was mean and you probably shouldn't have said it that way because X, Y, and Z. And so you feel that comfort, and that's what I rock with, especially all these years later. It's like, and I can call Tika and be like, girl, I met this girl, she was fine, but she did this and I thought 50 red flags.
That's exactly how it be too. You be like, best friend, go get in the tub.
Our tub talk. So we
have tub talks.
Yeah. So to clarify for the audience at large, one, we can't wait to hear everybody's feedback. So, you know, once we post this, please comment and tell us what you guys think, especially about the topics that we have. But tub talks for us were we would sit in the dry tub, either separately if we were in different states, or together in the dry tub with a glass of wine and just talk. Get it out.
And to be clear, for all you retards out there, we would have clothes on. We will be
fully clothed in the dry tub.
In the dry tub. And
like
that's
some fools.
Tub talk.
Tub talk. And so
and it's the dopest shit ever. You should try it.
You should try it because the echo of the tub allows you to feel the emotion. Like we could play, you know, we would listen to some old school jams and get it out. I think the best thing about friendships, and no matter what the sex is the trust. The trust and communication has to be there to even be. You know, that's my best friend.
Right.
I'm with it.
Oh, so we did promise that we would shout out businesses.
We did.
Promoting businesses for people. Yeah. So if you have a business that you want us to shout out, that you want us to promote, that you want us to swirl around and talk message us, leave all details. Because if you do not leave your details, we will not say anything.
At all. So who we got tonight?
So let's see who we got tonight in the
boom boom boom.
Y'all see that? Taking too long.
Do it, best friend. I believe in you. It's okay. We ain't even gonna edit this one.
The first business that we have is from Clarice Coleman. She is a travel agent. So if you have any traveling needs, if you want to see the world, if you want to go on a whim, if you want to be spontaneous, if you want to go to the mountains and see the snow, if you want to go to Jamaica and chill on the beach, call and get with Clarice Coleman. You can find her at claricecoleman.inteltravel.com.
Yes.
I'm going to say that again. That is claricecoleman.inteltravel.com. Get with your girl.
I'm with it. Lastly, we want to thank y'all so much. So we're going to drop episodes every Tuesday or every other Tuesday. We're excited. Join the conversation. Look us up on Instagram and Facebook. That's Two Sides to One Coin. Tika and Tim, we love you guys so much. What you got for them, best friend? What you got for them?
And just remember that this is our first time venturing out doing this. So be nice, because we will clap back.
We crazy as hell. We from the D. Come through. We love y'all so much.
Be nice. We love y'all.
Be nice. And we can't wait to hear what y'all think about it.